Everything we know about every single GTA character so far, including protagonists, but also other important characters. Let's do it starting with Jason. From what we've gathered so far, Jason appears to be your classic street hustler with big ambitions. He's not just another gangster. He's got that perfect mix of street smarts and criminal know-how that makes for a compelling GTA character. The dude seems to have worked his way up through Leonida's criminal underworld, building connections and earning respect in Vice City's shadier circles. Jason's personality is pretty much what you'd expect from a GTA protagonist. Cocky, carefree, and always ready with a quip. He's got that swagger that says he thinks he's untouchable, which, as we all know from GTA history, usually means trouble's coming. But unlike some previous GTA main characters, Jason doesn't seem to be a lone wolf. He's actually part of a crew that specializes in heists and scores throughout Vice City. Speaking of his crew, Jason seems to be the kind of guy who values loyalty. He's got his people, and based on what we've seen, he sticks by them through thick and thin. This is especially true when it comes to Lucia, the game's other protagonist. These two aren't just partners in crime, they're in a relationship, which adds a whole new dynamic we haven't really seen before in the GTA series. Interestingly, the central story of GTA 6 appears to kick off when one of Jason and his crew's heists goes horribly wrong. Now this is classic Rockstar storytelling. Start with a job gone bad, then watch the fallout spiral into something much bigger. We've seen hints that this botched heist forces Jason and Lucia to go on the run, setting up the main narrative of the game as they try to build themselves back up from nothing. What makes Jason stand out from previous GTA protagonists is how he's portrayed as part of a duo with Lucia. While he's got that traditional GTA protagonist vibe, ambitious, ruthless when needed, but with his own moral code, having him in a committed relationship creates a vulnerability we haven't really explored before. Does he put the hustle first, or does Lucia come before everything? That's the kind of tension that could make for some compelling storytelling. From the footage we've seen, Jason seems comfortable in various criminal scenarios, from slick, Ocean's 11-style heists to down and dirty street hustles. He appears equally at home schmoozing with Vice City's elite as he does getting his hands dirty with street-level crime. This versatility will likely translate to diverse gameplay options, letting us experience different sides of the criminal lifestyle. The dynamic between Jason's ambition and his relationship with Lucia is probably going to be one of the main tensions in the game. Does he risk it all for one last big score? Does he choose love over money? Or somehow try to have both? Classic GTA themes, but with the added complexity of having two protagonists whose fates are intertwined. That's pretty much everything we know about Jason so far. Next, Lucia. From everything we've gathered, Lucia appears to be the brains of the operation in her partnership with Jason. While he brings the street swagger and connections, Lucia brings the calculated planning and sharp intellect that makes their criminal enterprises actually work. She's not just along for the ride, she's often the one mapping out the strategy and seeing angles that others miss. One of the most striking images from the trailer shows Lucia in prison, wearing an orange jumpsuit with that unmistakable look of someone who's planning their next move even behind bars. This suggests that the heist that kicks off the GTA 6 story likely ended with her taking the fall, at least initially. Whether she was caught while Jason escaped, sacrificed herself to protect him, or was simply the only one the authorities could pin something on remains to be seen. But it's clear her time in prison plays a significant role in her character development. What seems interesting about Lucia is how she appears to be fully immersed in Vice City's criminal underworld, every bit as much as Jason. This isn't a story of a criminal and his girlfriend who gets reluctantly pulled into his world. Lucia seems to be a full-fledged gangster in her own right, with her own connections, skills, and reputation on the streets. She knows the game and plays it just as well as any of the men around her, if not better. The dynamic between Lucia and Jason seems to flip the script on traditional crime drama relationships. In many scenes, she appears to be the one calling the shots, the voice of reason when Jason might be acting on impulse. There's a moment in the footage where you can almost see her calculating risks while Jason is ready to kick down the door. That kind of contrasting approach is likely to create some interesting tension throughout the story. Her background appears to have Latin American influences, which might play into her character's backstory and connections in Vice City. The setting being inspired by Miami means we could see Lucia navigating complex cultural dynamics and potentially using her heritage as both a strength and shield in different situations. There are hints that she might have family ties to established criminal organizations, giving her resources that even Jason doesn't have access to. What makes Lucia particularly interesting is how she balances her criminal ambitions with her relationship with Jason. They're partners in every sense of the word, in crime and in life. But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. The footage suggests moments of intense connection between them, but also flashes of conflict, especially when the stakes get high and decisions need to be made quickly. The prison angle also suggests Lucia has a resilience that will be central to her character. She's someone who can take a fall, do the time, and come back even more determined. That kind of mental toughness, combined with her strategic thinking, makes her a formidable protagonist who can likely handle whatever Vice City throws at her. There are also moments in the trailer that hint at Lucia having her own separate missions and storylines, potentially allowing us to explore her perspective and abilities independent of Jason. This dual protagonist approach gives Rockstar the chance to show how the same criminal world looks through two different sets of eyes, the street hustler and the strategic mastermind. From what we've seen, Lucia isn't just breaking new ground as GTA's first female protagonist. She's potentially redefining what a GTA protagonist can be. She brings complexity, intelligence, and a calculated approach to crime that complements Jason's more direct style, creating what looks to be the most dynamic criminal partnership in GTA history. Now, protagonists are done. Let's do other important characters. First, Brian. So Brian is basically that aging drug kingpin vibe. You know what I'm saying? He's been running his operation in the Leonida Keys for years, and by now he's totally that guy who's seen it all and done it all. Man's got the whole semi-retired criminal boss thing going on, where he's still in the game but trying to keep a safe distance from the actual dirty work. The man runs his whole drug operation out of his boatyard called Brian's Boat Works and Marina, which is literally the perfect front business. Like, imagine the cops pulling up and he's just like, "Nah, officer, just fixing boats here," while packages are probably being loaded onto speedboats in the back. Classic GTA-style business front that's barely hiding what's really going down. He's not out there making deals and meeting clients anymore. Nah, this man has leveled up to management. He's got a whole crew of associates handling all the day-to-day stuff, while he probably just counts money and chills on his boat. That's that boss energy right there. Why risk getting caught when you can have other people do the risky stuff? And this is where our boy Jason comes into the picture. Apparently Jason works for Brian doing collections and shakedowns on local clients who aren't paying up. It's like Brian saw something in Jason and was like, this kid's got potential, and brought him into the fold. But the arrangement is pretty sweet for Jason too. He gets to live rent-free on one of Brian's properties. Free housing in this economy? Jason definitely scored with that deal. The whole setup gives me major vibes of Brian being like that older mentor figure for Jason, showing him the ropes of the criminal world. I'm betting there's going to be missions where Brian sends Jason on increasingly dangerous jobs, testing his loyalty while also teaching him the business. That classic GTA progression where you start doing small jobs for someone before getting pulled into bigger and wilder schemes. On the personal side, Brian is apparently on wife number 3, Lori. Like, imagine being such a character that you've gone through 3 marriages and still going. I'm low-key expecting some drama there. Maybe Lori knows about the business, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's involved. Or maybe she's planning to take him for everything he's got. You know Rockstar's gonna give us some messy relationship dynamics to spice things up. I'm getting serious retired pirate vibes from Brian. Like that salty old sea dog who's seen it all and now runs his little empire from the comfort of his marina. He's probably got stories for days about the wild stuff he got up to back in his prime. I can already picture those cutscenes where he's drinking something expensive on a boat deck, telling Jason about how things used to be in Vice City. The whole dynamic between Brian and Jason is definitely giving father figure, mentor vibes, which makes me think Brian's gonna play a pretty major role in the story. Is he gonna be the guy who betrays Jason? Or maybe the one who gets taken out, sending Jason on a revenge mission? Or could he end up being the rare GTA character who actually survives and stays loyal? Whatever goes down, Brian Heder is definitely going to be one of those classic GTA characters who leaves his mark on the game. The retired drug runner who still pulls strings from his boatyard is exactly the kind of personality that makes the GTA world feel so lived in and real. Cal Hampton. So Cal Hampton is basically Jason's friend, and also works for Brian Heder in some capacity. But that's like the most normal thing about this guy, because everything else about him is absolute chaos. Cal is your classic conspiracy theorist friend that everyone seems to have these days, except cranked up to 11, because, you know, it's GTA. This man is described as paranoid and conspiratorial, which in the GTA universe probably means he's actually onto something real. Like, you just know half his crazy theories are gonna turn out to be true by the end of the game. That's how Rockstar rolls. The guy everyone thinks is crazy is usually seeing things clearer than anyone else. Cal apparently spends his free time spying on Coast Guard communications. Not watching TV, not gaming, not chilling at the beach. Nope. This man is out here with radio equipment tracking what the Coast Guard is up to. I'm betting this hobby is gonna come in clutch during some mission where Jason needs to know when the coast is clear, pun intended, for some sketchy boat activity. The best part about Cal is that he's deep into internet conspiracy theories. I can already picture the cutscenes where he's frantically explaining some wild theory to Jason, who's just trying to get info for a job, but has to sit through Cal's rant about how the Vice City government is putting chemicals in the water or whatever. You just know he's got a wall somewhere covered in red string connecting random photos. But the absolute cherry on top is that Cal is worried about bird flight formations. Not just regular paranoia about being watched or government conspiracies. This man thinks the birds are up to something. Like he's out there watching seagulls fly in a V-shape and thinking, they're sending signals, man. That's such a specific type of paranoia that it's actually kinda genius. Only Rockstar would create a character who thinks birds are government spies or part of some grand conspiracy. I'm guessing Cal is gonna be that character who provides some comic relief, but also ends up being surprisingly useful. Like, Jason probably rolls his eyes every time Cal starts talking about his latest theory, but then some random bird knowledge saves their butts during a heist gone wrong. That's the beauty of these eccentric GTA side characters. They're ridiculous, but usually have skills that become essential later on. The dynamic between level-headed, but still criminal, Jason and completely off-the-rails Cal is gonna be gold for cutscenes. I can already hear the dialogue where Jason's trying to focus on a job and Cal's like, "But have you noticed the pelicans are flying northwest today? That's a bad omen, man." Also, the fact that Brian Heder trusts this dude enough to keep him around as an associate says a lot. Either Cal is surprisingly competent despite his paranoia, or he knows things that make him valuable. Maybe all that Coast Guard spying actually provides useful intel for Brian's drug-running operation? Finding routes where they won't get caught would be pretty valuable info. I'm betting Cal's conspiracy theories are going to play into some larger plot points in the game too. Like, maybe he starts rambling about some secret government operation that everyone ignores, but then later it turns out to be connected to the main storyline. Classic Rockstar move to hide major plot hints in the ramblings of the character everyone dismisses. Anyway, Cal Hampton is already looking like one of those unforgettable GTA side characters who might not get the most screen time, but absolutely steals every scene he's in. I can't wait to see what kind of missions we'll get with this bird-watching, Coast Guard spying conspiracy theorist. Booby Ike. Booby Ike is straight up one of those characters who's got his fingers in literally everything. He's a real estate mogul, club owner, and music producer. Like man's decided to collect business ventures, like their Pokemon cards. His main spot is the Jack of Hearts strip club, which is definitely going to be one of those iconic GTA locations we'll be visiting a bunch throughout the story. What makes Booby super interesting is his backstory as a former street hustler who climbed all the way to the top. You know Rockstar loves those rags to riches stories, and Booby's got that classic, "I built this empire from nothing" vibe that's gonna make for some fire cutscenes. You just know he's gonna have some of the most quotable lines in the game, probably dropping gems about how he transformed from slinging on corners to signing property deals. On the surface, Booby's apparently a pretty chill, friendly dude, until business enters the chat. Then he flips like a switch and turns into that ruthless businessman who's only looking out for number one. This dual personality thing is gonna make him super unpredictable. Like you never know if you're getting cool, laid-back Booby or cutthroat business Booby when you walk into his office. The most interesting thing about Booby right now isn't even his strip club or real estate empire. It's his passion project. My man is going hard trying to secure a hit recording deal for his studio, Only Raw Records. Like, imagine being rich enough to own half of Vice City but still chasing that music industry dream. That's the kind of character depth that makes GTA side characters so memorable. And he's not doing it alone. Booby's working with his partner, an aspiring artist named Draquan Priest. This whole subplot is giving major GTA, San Andreas vibes with the music industry storylines, but updated for the 2020s. I'm betting we'll get missions where Jason and Lucia have to help promote Draquan's music, or maybe protect him from rival producers or labels. The Jack of Hearts strip club is definitely going to be one of those classic GTA locations where a ton of missions start. Like, I can already picture walking in there and seeing that little mission marker over Booby's head as he's sitting in his VIP section, probably arguing with someone on the phone about property values or record deals. Classic GTA stuff. Maybe Jason did some work for him back in his hustling days. Or maybe Lucia has some connection to his real estate business. There's definitely going to be some history there that pulls them into his orbit. I'm low-key expecting Booby to start as an ally, but maybe turn into something else as the story progresses. Those friendly until business is involved types are always wild cards in GTA stories. One minute they're handing you missions, and the next they're trying to take you out because you've become a liability. That's the beauty of these morally flexible characters. You never know where their loyalties truly lie. The whole music producer angle is super fresh for GTA though. Like, yeah, we've had music in the games before, but having a character who's actively trying to build a record label while running other businesses adds another layer to Vice City's culture. I wouldn't be surprised if there are actually some real bangers that come out of Only Raw Records that we can hear on the radio while driving around. Booby Ike is giving me major fan-favorite character vibes already. He's got that perfect mix of ambition, shadiness, and charisma that makes for an unforgettable GTA character. Whether he ends up being an ally throughout, or takes a darker turn, his scenes are definitely going to be some of the most entertaining in the game. That's everything we know about Booby Ike so far. Drop a comment with your thoughts on how he'll fit into the story, and what kind of missions we might get with him. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more GTA 6 character breakdowns. Next time we're gonna dive into Draquan Priest and other characters. Peace out.